Hi everyone, I wanted to share a new deck to my collection. This is the Phantomwise Tarot by Erin Morgenstern, and she is the author of The Night Circus, which I have not read, and actually I didn't stumble across the deck because of the book. I just happened to see some images being shared, and the deck captivated my attention from that very moment because it was the first time that I felt a draw towards a black and white deck. So if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I'm drawn to a lot of color, and so this is very different for me. So I've already taken the plastic off, and here's the inside of the box. I'll remove the tissue, and then here we have the guidebook. It's not, it's pretty small, you can see. But let's see. So she includes deck images and a little bit of information regarding the cards. It's divided by suit, and there's a note from the author, a spread. There's a few spreads in here, suggestions on how to read the tarot, introduction. So yeah, not a lot of information, but what you need to get started. So I will set that aside. And I love that this inside here is red. I was actually thinking of edging the deck in red as well. So let's see. Oh, I didn't put the, let's see. There we go. So I'll move that off to the side. So here are the card backs, and I'll flip it over. Now, this cardstock is interesting. It's not linen, but it has a linen-like texture. And maybe that's from the lamination. But yeah, so the cards, you know, they slide and they make a sound. I don't know if you can hear that. All right, so let's get into it. See if we can zoom in just a little. Okay. So just looking at this card, I really like this. I love she has her companion. It almost reminds you of Alice in Wonderland with this rabbit here jumping into into the tree stump. Obviously, I was aware when I got the deck that it had this gigantic space down here at the bottom, but for some reason that didn't bother me one bit. And even though it was black and white, there was something about the imagery that made it seem, I don't know, deeper or richer. I'm not sure. There's a lot of grayscale. I really like the artwork. So here we have the Magician. I like this High Priestess with the chopsticks in her hair, and half of her face is kind of hidden there with her bangs. She's got her book open in front of her, and a crystal ball in one hand, the moon at the other, and we do have the black and white pillar. So very RWS. Empress. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it looks like she is pregnant. I love the scroll work here on the side. It's so pretty. The Emperor. I noticed that in this deck there's quite a few kitty cats, so I don't have a cat deck. I do have a cat, so I think this gives me a great a great alternative to having an all cat deck. I love all the books. And having those two light fixtures above and the two stacks of book is kind of reminiscent of the High Priestess. I love, love, love this Lover's card. I love her posture as she leans into him and the fact that they're holding hands. The Chariot. I've always been partial to hot air balloons. In my area, you see them quite frequently in the early morning hours. Strength. I like this hermit image. This card is so simple, and yet you find yourself just staring at that swirl. And really gives you that sense of cycles and how life sometimes takes you in all these different twists and turns, expanding you one way or the other, whether you like it or not. I love this card. So she's wearing her sword. She's got it at the ready. This is awesome. Hangman. Under the spotlight. So even though this deck is very simple in imagery, there's a lot of little details I feel that you could pull into your readings. I really like this death card. I love that you cannot see the face, that it's hidden under the umbrella. Temperance. Cup of tea. The Devil card. Okay, I'm digging his cigarette and the smoke and his monocle and the tag in his top hat. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it's just me. This here almost looks like a dagger to me. It's so interesting. The tower, again, a very simple image. It's a clock tower, but I love how it's struck by lightning and actually the face of the clock is popping off. And for me, I see that as being able to look into the soul, to see behind the face. I love the star card. That backless, low back dress. Her long braid. The moon. Again, we have a kitty cat here And it's very different. I don't see like the water imagery, but we do kind of see the two trees here, and the way that the light is shining on them, it kind of indicates a portal of some sort. For me, it looks like a doorway. The sun card with the sunflowers. I always like it when you can tell, because obviously this happens in nature, right? Flowers will turn towards the rays of the sun, and I love it when artists include that in the imagery. Judgment. I like the Egyptian vibes here, and weighing of the heart to the feather. I don't know if you noticed, but he's got an earring. And then we have the World card. And I love how she's holding the circle. She's actually got it cradled in her arms. And the image almost seems to me like the tree of life. Yet she's standing on top of the world. She's got her bunny with her. I really like this. All right, so from here we move into the wands. So a little different here. We still have the two wands and the cat kind of perched up on the limb of the tree, kind of looking out and making those initial observations, possibly planning next steps. Now here we have the 3. I really like how this is depicted. You can still see the boat. I love the idea of the piñata, and the piñata being a cat. And the kiddos trying to get the goodies. But you know, always in this game, somebody ends up getting hurt. This image makes me smile. The fact that the cat has caught a mouse and he is just triumphantly marching across that fence while all the other cats look on. 7, I love her dress. The movement of the 8. She's looking down, but she's still standing. Okay, and the 10, carrying such a load, and look at his posture. And then look at the cat's body language. Oh my goodness. And we have our page. Our knight. The queen. And the king. So you can see the queen doesn't have the cat companion, but the king does. That's pretty cool. Okay, so none of the court card titles have been changed. Makes it very, very easy. It doesn't stray too far from the RWS. Here we have our ace. Oh my goodness. 2 of cups. Seems like this suit incorporates bunnies. I love this image. This reminds me, I don't know, New Year's Eve. 4. With that cup being so far up, it's almost seems like it would be unreachable or unattainable, and yet it's right there. I like it when in the 5, the figure is facing forward instead of seeing their backside. Very emotive. Oh my goodness. I love this tea party. Oh, I like this 7. And I love that each of the cups is completely different, because even though they're empty, it still gives you that idea of having to make a choice or a selection, and each cup looking special in its own way. I love that she's going up the stairwell, and the stairwell almost seems overwhelming to me. It is it's a climb. It's a climb. It's not easy. She's gonna get winded, but she is not looking back. I really like this 9. Oh, this is adorable. I mean, what says abundance more than these bunnies? And our page with her bunny ears. The knight. Oh, the queen. I love that she's close to the ocean. And there's a boat in the background. I really like that. And the king sipping on his martini. Now we have the swords. I like this. I like this a lot. And you're trying to go 2 different ways. Three. The card of rest, and I love how she has that gigantic dagger, machete, whatever you want to call it, just right there, just in case. Okay, the 5. Oh, I love this. So no people in this card. All you see are the crows. You've got a couple of cages here. The crows have been able to come out of their cage, and they're moving on, taking their swords with them. Ninja. Could be sneaky, but could be stealthy. Our 8. I like this idea because you have 8 swords on the left and then 1 sword on the right. And it gives you that idea that even in the midst of overwhelm, maybe by just changing your perspective on just one little thing, that could be the key, that could be the answer. I really like this 10. You know, it's very traditional, except that the swords are not in her body. They're present. They're present. And I like that. Our page. The knight. Okay, so maybe those are wings. Okay. A knight on his fierce creature. Queen. And the king. And then we have the pentacles. I love the poodle. We have our three, our triad. The four is pretty traditional. And the five. So instead of the two figures, we have the one figure, and she is just pushing against the winds of that storm with her pup. I love this six. The idea of giving and receiving and generosity and sharing, and the idea that she is sharing and offering with the stray dogs. I really love that. Seven. I really like this image. Eight. The level of detail and time that it takes to string up these decorations and get them hung. Ooh, I love this 9. Look at her sassy little split in her dress. She's wearing something on her ankle. She's just falling back on those pentacles. I love her headdress. It's beautiful. And the 10. We have our two pups guarding the entrance. I really like the stones here. A sense of balance. Right, balance, not only balance and precision, and creating something really beautiful that is going to be admired. And I'm thinking these are probably hedges. I guess when I first looked at them, I thought that they were stones. One perfectly placed on top of the other. Beautiful, all the same. Have our page. Knights. The queen. Ooh, I like this king. Well, that is it. Let's see how the deck shuffles. It's a bit stiff. Obviously, it's new. Not really a good riffle shuffler. I'm always worried that I'm gonna damage my decks. Ooh, that sound. Ooh, that sound. I think that might be the only thing that I would struggle to work with, because one of my favorite things about working with the tarot is the shuffling experience. You know, the tactile, the feeling of the card stock, the sound of the cards. So, I mean, on the flip side, it's not incredibly slippy and the cards don't get stuck, so that's kind of nice. But I don't know how I feel about that. That sound from the texture, right? There's texture on both sides of the card. Let's see. Cards come together nicely. Not sure who the publisher is for this deck. Oh, Clarkson Potter. Clarkson Potter Publishers. I'm just kind of giving the cards a shuffle and looking at the back of the box. And it says, welcome to a nocturnal fantasia where nothing is as it seems. So this was a hand-painted deck. The characters and the creatures who inhabit this circusy wonderland serve as symbols illustrating moments and mysteries encountered on life's journey. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's draw a card from the deck and see, maybe we can read from the guidebook. King of Swords. King of Swords. So let me make sure. There. So let's see what the book says. A serious crowned figure sits on their throne, a raven perched above, a sharp mind with a sharp sword. A time for high intellect and high standards and high energy. A person who is reasonable and level-headed, a seeker of harmony and diplomacy. A thoughtful, balanced problem solver. Okay. So I think I mentioned already, it doesn't give you reversed meanings if you're a person that likes to use reversals. I don't. I tend to look at the light and shadow aspects of the card based on the reading and spread positions if I'm using them. But I think that gives you pretty good information. If you're a beginner, I would say you might want to use this in tandem with a study book, with a tarot study book. But yeah, there you have it. That is the deck. I think it's quite beautiful. I think I'm really gonna enjoy it. You know, pleasantly surprised. I have never been attracted to a black and white deck. I just didn't think it was something for me, but I'm really looking forward to working with this. And feel free to drop a comment. Do you have this deck? Are you drawn to this deck? Do you have a collection of black and white decks, or do you also stick to color? That is the Phantomwise Tarot. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day.